Hey everyone, I'm back for another video. I thought that you all would enjoy seeing a little tour of the outbuilding because changes are happening here on the farm and get a little bit update on some of the things that I'm going to be doing differently this year. First, I wanted to talk a little bit about comments on the channel. I try to respond to some comments. Chances are, if I am responding to your comments, there's about a 60% chance those responses were written in the bathroom. That's too much information, then I'm sorry. But it's true. It is really hard to respond to all the comments, but I read everything. I read every single comment that ever comes on the channel. Your opinions and ideas filter through into my brain, and so please continue to comment like you have been. It really helps me out a lot. And even though I won't be able to respond to all of them, I am hearing what you're saying. One of the comments in the last video was somebody suggesting to me that instead of chickens, I get Indian runner ducks. And it kind of like reawakened something in me because I have always wanted Indian runner ducks. They're so cute. And then I started thinking about like what I would call some of my Indian runner ducks. And I decided that my two favorite runner ducks, I would call them Quackers and Dip. Quackers and Dip. Imagine having a little duck named Dip. Oh my God, it would be so cute. So, now I'm thinking like maybe they would be better for what I'm looking for than chickens. And I think I'm going to start moving towards trying to make that happen, which is cool. So comments, comments get the wheels turning inside of my head. Keep them up. Okay. Next, I just want to show you how clean the outbuilding is, right? Like, so this used to be where all the flowers were arranged. You can see it's like, ooh, is it ever cleared out in here, right? This is going to be more of like a living space for me now. I put an Airbnb unit into the farmhouse, and so it might be nice to have some space here to, hang out with the family and, just like be able to make a little bit more noise. But I didn't just like make this space for like that only reason. I also did it because I felt like the farm was inefficient with too much walking in between areas, especially inside. It's awkward to like bring things through doors and down hallways and always knocking stuff over. The shop was not really utilized very well. It was full of junk and it wasn't really full of useful space. So I have also been clearing out shop space while building this seedling room back here, right? So the seedling room is starting to take shape. I think that, with how the layout is going now, maybe people can start to really feel the vision of what I'm trying to do here. Let's go into the seedling room. Work in progress, obviously. So you can see this is a good sized room. There is a lot of space. I'm hoping for like, 5 or 6 racks of lights. I do have this little like manifold thing set up here. So I'm going to build, little bottom watering irrigation system for, each of the racks. So I can just like, boop, turn a valve. Because what we were doing before with the seedlings, we were growing them here in the bathroom, and we were watering them in the shower. And it took a long time. It was really hard. I don't want to do things wrong anymore. I want to fix things, right? So that's kind of like, there's some good open space to work with here now, right? I'm really excited about just having a fun hangout room. And then I'm really excited about building an efficient workspace where everything is close together in the shop, right? So, against the wall, obviously it makes sense to have a bunch of storage racks. You can see over here, this used to be under the walnut tree, right? And now this is going to be my wash station for like, in the spring when the tulips come and we have to like wash the dirt out, I can use these sinks, and this actually just drains. This just goes straight outside the building. So I can wash all the dirt I want. And it's not going into the septic tank. And there's another one. The other sink is in the seedling room on the other side of this wall here. And then this one has both hot and cold water, and it even has spots so like I can drain the system and I can block off this part, because like inside there, that's going to be always above 0 in the winter. But this area, this could be, you know, below freezing. So I have to be able to winterize these lines separately. And I don't need this sink right now. I just need it once, you know, basically the tulips start. And then I'll also have this space to wash buckets and stuff. And, you know, like it'll be like way faster. Like this sink is huge, right? And before I had a lot of problems with space and water just getting everywhere. And now it's like, you know, it'll be way easier. And then the idea with this rack here, which used to just be like tools and stuff, this is going to be where I use for like drying racks. And then across the middle here, kind of like leaving a space for, you know, getting into the shelving stuff, I want to start just like a line of tables so that I have a big, long, consistent workspace for like arranging. Then I just have, you know, I'm not tripping over stuff, right? I want to get everything out of the shop that isn't like supposed to be here. This isn't going to be like a storage area anymore. I want to prioritize space. You know, if there's something that I need all the time, then I'll keep it here. Like I still have like a little bit of storage. But if it's like something that's going into more of like, I need it every now and then it can go down to the shipping containers. Like not here, right? I've been taking a bit of a different approach this year. I've been investing in some tools to make it so that I'm more efficient. One of the things I did is I bought a set of like Milwaukee cordless tools. So down here, I've got like a cordless brush saw. You can kind of see it there. Yeah. And then I've got, you know, like drills, cordless saw. Like I had some of this in DeWalt, but it was like really old and it didn't work. The main reason I bought these was for the brush saw and then cordless recip saw. So I know this doesn't really sound like essential farm stuff, but for me it was really important because one of the major weeds that we have on this farm is the Chinese elms. They're like an invasive tree. And they, in a year, their tap roots can go like 1.5 feet deep or something. Like they are ridiculous. And you try to pull them out, and the problem is that they snap off, and then that root stays there, and it just gets thicker and thicker. And you know, every year it comes up, and it can look like this tiny little insubstantial plant up top, but that root just keeps getting bigger, and you just can't get it out. They're really hard to get out. So eventually, areas of the farm have turned into kind of like bamboo mats of, you know, like those things. So a couple months ago, I rented a little mini excavator, you know, kind of like the smallest one. You don't even sit in a cab, you just like stand on the back of it and like use levers. But I figured it would be enough to pull out all the saplings, all the little Chinese elm saplings, and it wasn't, which is okay. I got a lot of them out. I got like the smaller ones out and stuff. But like the really big, heavy clumps, the machine would lift up instead of, you know, like them budging, right? They were really in there. So the cordless recip saw, what I would do is I dug up, you know, next to them, and then I was able to cut the tap roots like pretty deep with the recip saw for the most part. And it was a way for me to be able to get all of those stumps out. So, you know, I just want to like fully complete the war on Chinese elms. And I really have done a good job. You know, like that's one of those things that it's a job that you can just put 100 hours into, and like nobody's gonna look at your farm and be like, oh, look what isn't here. But they're not here. There's a few that I still have to dig out, but for the most part, the farm is Chinese elm free, and I couldn't have done it without that recip saw. As I tilled everything after I got the Chinese elm stumps out, I tilled everything and I raked it flat, so now I can run the lawnmower over it. So now I can keep weeds down in areas that were before, you know, like wild, right? So different approaches. I want to be able to control everything like with minimal effort. Another thing for control, let's see, where is it here? Oh, I haven't even opened it up yet, but I just got it the other day. Right there, that box right there. That is a flame weeder. I got a little flame weeder cart. You know, I think it's like 30 inches wide or something that it does. So, you know, you all know what flame weeder is. But I just feel like I don't want to be spending my entire life weeding, even though it's one of my favorite things to do. You know, there's other things that I have to do. And having a flame weeder will be able to, I'll be able to like keep pace with the weeds in the spring, and I'll have a tool to kind of like get myself back in control of the farm, right? There's another box to open too that I haven't done yet, and it is over here. This one right here. And this is like a battery powered backpack sprayer. I never really did too much spraying, but I would do like a foliar feed every now and then. And I do want to do like foliar feeds on occasion. I think foliar sprays, like, they can be good for like the micronutrients, but they're not really good for like the macro stuff that plants need. The old backpack sprayer that I had was like a hand pump, and after doing like one bed of it, my arm would like be like so sore. So I invested in one that has like a little battery powered pump in it. If all the tasks are a lot easier, then there's no excuse not to do them. I wanted to show you changes that you can see. Like you can see that things are different here now. That my vision is slightly, different from what it used to be. And I think that there's a lot of potential in the farm. I really do. I believe in it. And I believe in me. I haven't really talked about this particular part of my past before, but some people know that I used to be in forestry work, right? And I started off running chainsaw. I was a faller. And eventually I started a heavy equipment company that was like forestry equipment. And I had a business partner who was a good friend of mine. We worked together for, I don't know, like 10 years almost, until he left the company and I got rid of all the machines and all the employees, and it was just me. And there was all these issues, with the way that the company ran up to that point, that I'd always said, I wanted different, but it was hard to, enforce different standards on people working on different sites. And, like, even though I was the owner, it was hard to control people making bad decisions. People just, trucks would show up and they'd be destroyed. Equipment would get broken. Well, when it was just me, I was like, there's no more excuses, right? I don't have anyone to pass the buck on to anymore. Like, there's no one to be like, this truck came back and it's dirty because, of you guys, this machine got broken because you weren't paying attention. It was just me. And I did really good. The first year that I got a lot of work by myself was the most profitable year ever for the company by a long shot. And then I had a couple other good years after that before I decided to close the company because, COVID had started and I didn't really want to be away from my family anymore. And YouTube was taking off. So I didn't really feel like I needed to anymore. That experience though of going from something where I was in a partnership type deal to having to take care of the business all by myself, that was something that I learned from, and I did really good. I kept things neater. I kept things, organized. The machine ran beautifully. Like, I didn't have the same sort of problems that I used to. And, basically I fulfilled my goals in taking over control of the company completely. And so I feel like that's kind of what I'm trying to do here as well. I have confidence in knowing that I've been in a similar situation before and I made the right decisions. So, here I am trying to believe in myself and make the right decisions again. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, where some of my confidence comes from. And finally, I just want to talk a little bit more about comments. Being trans and being online, it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not easy. People say really mean things. And I've got thick skin, but it is only so thick. People assume, like, I know people just care about like my family and my story, and they're worried that what I'm doing is going to affect, my kids in a negative way. But, I love my kids. I love my family. And like, I'm not doing anything with the intention of hurting them. And I know that that still isn't a good answer for lots of people. But honestly, I'm a great parent. I really try. I put a lot of effort into my kids. I think one of the reasons that I'm successful on YouTube is because I'm kind of like a fun person, and I'm a really fun parent. And I don't care if they call me dad for the rest of my life. That's in a sense that's the role that I've always filled. I don't really care about what people call me or how people label me, but I know that I'm going to be dealing with like some pretty like consistent negativity for my entire rest of my existence, essentially. And so, if you got something nice to say, I will gladly hear it. And if you have something negative to say, like I said in another video, like you don't have to. I'm just gonna block you. Anyways, honestly, I've blocked lots and lots of people so far. So you won't be the first and you won't be the last. If you want to get your little 2 cents in for the minute that it stays up, knock yourself out. But, as far as, how I care for my family and stuff, my kids are my #1 priority. Okay, one more thing. I want to talk about upcoming videos, which I think there's some fun ones that I've got planned. Inventory of all the perennials that are currently planted on the farm. I think it'd be fun to do like a little overview, just like a little refresher of how much stuff is here already. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff planted on here. This year, in a lot of ways, to continue to evolve the farm to the point where I can efficiently run it by myself and lean heavily on perennials that are established this year. As this year will be a bit of a learning year for me. I need to make money, so I'm gonna work my butt off, but I'm not expecting it to be a fully realized version of what the farm will be in the long term. So I will be very reliant on the perennials that are here, and it will be helpful to me to go through and create a little mental inventory as well. So I'm going to make a video of that. That one's a little bit more complicated to make on my phone because I'll have to be overlaying pictures, and the app that I edit with is a little bit slower and harder to use than a computer. So I'm hoping to get that one done soon, but I'm not sure because I haven't tried it yet. Then also I want to make a video, like I mentioned, how it's hard to respond to comments. I wanted to make just like a response to the questions that are continuously being asked, or some ones that kind of like resonated with me specifically. And so I will be working on a kind of like group response to comments video. I want to have a clean, organized, well-run farm. That's my goal. And I'm not taking the winter off. I'm hard at work still trying to execute the vision that I have for this. So thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to check out one of my next videos. It'll probably be the comment video next, and then stay tuned for the perennial video, which I think will be really cool. And then once I have a computer, I think I'm going to try to film some sort of farm vlog. That'll be fun. So toodles later. Oh wait, one more thing I want to show you guys. Here's my little dried flower arrangement I made the other day. It's not really an arrangement. It's more like me shoving, clumps of colorful things in together and slightly moving them around. But I wanted to make a comment about creativity and fostering a place for creativity. So, I never really was making the bouquets for the farm before. I started making some last year. And honestly, to my surprise, I had spent enough time around the flowers, around the bouquets, that it was starting to really just come natural to me. And when I went to make the larger arrangements with like the spiral in the hand technique, I don't know if there's an official way to call that, but suddenly my hand was grabbing everything properly and it all made sense. So I'm actually really excited about making the bouquets this year and expressing some of the ideas that I have around what bouquets, I think will sell. I'm really into like colors, and I want to do some fun stuff with that. That's a little bit different than what the bouquets looked like before. But I believe in, like my ability to creatively come up with a slightly new take on what the bouquets should look like. And so sometimes, like, I think I put that little dried flower arrangement together at like midnight. I was like working so hard cleaning in here, and then I just want to like play around with flowers for a few minutes, and I did. The idea with this one is it's going to be like a constantly evolving spot where I can just like constantly put new stuff into it or take stuff out of it and build it up in this space. And it's just like a bouquet that constantly evolves from this space. So I think that's fun. I think that's a fun place to start. And I made a bunch of other I made stuff for friends and parties. And, I just have been trying to foster my creativity whenever I feel the spark of inspiration for flowers, even though dried flowers aren't exactly the same as fresh flowers for arranging. It still kind of gets similar gears turning in the head. And when I'm feeling like I want to explore those, then I block out some time for myself to do that, because I feel like it's important. If you're gonna have a flower farm, then you should be passionate about, arranging beautiful flowers. And I need to work on developing that skill. But what I do have going for me is I've been going to farmers markets for, 6 years or something like that, and selling lots of flowers and seeing, I've always been paying attention to what flowers people are walking around with from the other vendors, and what flowers other vendors are bringing, like what's available in the area, what things look like. And so even though I don't have like a super big category list in my head of all like names of like flower types and stuff, that's not really how my brain works. I have a feeling for what sells. I think that I have a really good feeling for what sells and what won't sell, what customers see and they don't see. And so what my goal is when arranging stuff is to make stuff look like how I think it will sell. That's like such a, like duh. You want to make things that look like they'll sell. But, when I make something, I want to be like, will this sell? If it won't, then I'm like, well, what do I have to do to make it sell? And that's going to be how I guide myself in the creative process to realize what the finished product is, to be like, okay, this is not good enough. It needs improvement, but like part of that is just when I'm feeling creative, I got to let it flow. And on that note, toodles for real this time. It's so snowy out.